What's going on, everybody? C4 here today, continuing with the 7-round mock draft series. We are well and established ourselves, I think, here as the best mock drafts, the biggest, the longest, the hardest mock drafts on the YouTube platform today. And we're working on the Pittsburgh Steelers. People know I do enjoy watching the Steelers football if the Eagles aren't playing. And last year, the Steelers, 11-5 record, 7th overall offense, 12th overall defense. We're going to talk about their free agency grades. Weren't really busy in free agency as of today. We're going to look at their 2016 draft, see how that will match up to what we can try to accomplish here with their full 7-round mock draft. And they have quite a few picks this year, so let's see what we can do. So last year, the Pittsburgh Steelers MVP for me was Le'Veon Bell. Even with the suspension, I mean, his stats were almost astronomical. I mean, plenty of good playmakers there. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger overall had a slightly above average year. As a Big Ben fantasy football owner, he could have done better. Antonio Brown was good, but I think you have to give it to Le'Veon Bell. Their needs before free agency started, I as outside linebacker, offensive tackle, and looking at a backup quarterback. There's those rumors that I thought were complete bullshit, but there maybe is some truth and validity to it. Ben Roethlisberger thinking about retiring. I think that's unfortunate. I don't really want to see him retire. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL. But if, he has taken a lot of punishment, he's the toughest quarterback in the NFL. There's no doubt about it that Ben Roethlisberger is on another level when it comes to playing through the pain. And, how aren't you hurt more often? But yeah, I think looking at a backup quarterback, that could be in the cards. I don't necessarily know if they're going to pull the trigger this year, but maybe. So at free agency, they re-signed Chris Boswell. He was a exclusive rights free agent. $600K for 1 year. He's one of the best kickers in the NFL. Even though they don't always go for the extra point, I think Boswell is, a fringe top 10 kicker in the NFL. And getting for less than $1 million, give that a B. They tag Le'Veon Bell, which is $12 million, A+. That's perfect scenario for Le'Veon Bell. A guy with off-field issues. You don't want to get him into a long-term deal with a lot of guaranteed money. Maybe give him this year to see if he can you stay suspension-free? Can you do us a solid and try to do that this season? So $12 million, getting debatably the best running back. I think it's between him and David Johnson, in my honest opinion. For $12 million, that's not bad. They extended Antonio Brown, 4 years, $68 million, A+, along with Julio Jones. He's the best wide receiver in the NFL. And they re-signed James Harrison to a 2-year, $3.5 million deal. Ageless wonder himself. He just seems to be, I wouldn't say he looks just as good as he did before. I mean, obviously he's slowing down a little bit, but James Harrison still can get quality starting minutes. I'm giving that an A. Very financially flexible, if you will, with the Steelers' salary depth and cap. So, with the 2016 draft, let's see what they did last year, see if we agree or disagree with how many of the picks they had. In the first round, pick 25, they got after Artie Burns, the corner from Miami. He seemed like he played the back end of the season a lot more. I think he started, I don't know how many games in total he started, but he had 3 picks, 65 tackles. Thought it was maybe a little bit of a reach getting Artie Burns in the first round. I thought he was more so a mid-second round corner, but they needed corner. Corner was an immediate need. They went out and addressed it. A lot of corners were going around the time that they were picking. And Artie Burns, I think when all is said and done, Artie Burns had a solid rookie season, and that's a great fit back there. They got Sean Davis in the second round, who won the Pittsburgh Steelers Rookie of the Year last year. 70 tackles, a sack and a half, 5 pass deflections, and an interception, adding tremendous depth there to the safety. I think Artie Burns and Sean Davis, 2 great picks for a team that 100% need to have a safety and a corner last year. So they totally hit on those 2 players. They got Javon Hargrave, defensive tackle in the third round. Another guy that saw a lot of starting minutes, even in the third round. 27 total tackles, 2 sacks. He had a touchdown, I assume a fumble recovery touchdown. For a guy like Hargrave, I don't necessarily know if he's going to be your long-term option as a defensive end. I think they had him playing a little bit of nose tackle. Ugh, he's not a nose tackle, but he's still got a lot of production out of him. They got Gerald Hawkins, the offensive tackle out of LSU in the 4th round. I thought that was great value. Travis Feeney, the outside linebacker from Washington in the 6th round. 7th round, they got DeMarcus Ayers, wide receiver from Houston. And then their last pick of the draft, a pick I loved. Pick 246, they got Tyler Matakevich, the inside linebacker. Just you can do it all, the linebacker spot from Temple. Quality special teamer. I think there's lots of upside, so I hope he continues to stay on that roster to earn it. And I think you may want to look at him. I would honestly have Matakevich compete with Vince Williams for the starting inside linebacker gig if that's how they plan on rolling it without addressing or adding any other names to that mix. For sure, get over that. So that being said, great draft last year for the Pittsburgh Steelers when all said and done. Let's see if we can replicate that kind of success here in 2017 with our 7-round mock. Let's jump right into things. And with the 30th pick in the first round, They're going for outside linebacker Takk McKinley from UCLA, 6'2", 250 pounds. Ran a 4.59 40, 24 reps on the bench press after having a massive season last year with UCLA. 18 tackles for loss, 10 sacks, 6 pass breakups. Outside linebacker is a big position of need for me. As much as I love James Harrison. James Harrison, one of my favorite players on the defensive side of the ball that's not wearing an Eagles jersey. You can't continue to have him be your primary starter. I think James Harrison should be relegated to a rotational role, getting extra production from him. Bud Dupree emerged last year. He had a solid season, so let's get some help on the opposing side and get a freak athlete like Takk McKinley. So you can still utilize James Harrison. You can have McKinley learn from James Harrison. Maybe learn to, how to be increasingly more violent. I guess that's what you can learn from James Harrison. But addressing here, getting the best, probably if you're even dressing just best player available, McKinley here at number 30 probably still ticks that box off as well. And it just so happens to be a need for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think Takk McKinley at pick number 30. Excellent value and could be a starter and really work in a rotation, I think, as a rookie with James Harrison. So that's a very favorable situation to have there. Jumping to pick 2, second round pick 62 in the second round. I've been going after Anthony Walker Jr., the inside linebacker from Northwestern, 6'1", 240 pounds, ran a 4.65 40, 23 reps on the bench press. A lot of people thought he wasn't going to test as well as he did. He tested fairly well to me. NFL Pro Cup comparison is Kiko Alonso from NFL.com. I somewhat see that. I mean, this guy here was uber protective, a tackling machine at Northwestern. In his last year, he had 105 tackles, 10 tackles for loss. But, I mean, his junior year, 122 tackles, 16 tackles for loss. He was one of the best linebackers in the country. And I think that if you're not really going to try to roll with Tyler Matakavich to give him a starting gig, you can really look at Anthony Walker in the second round being an upgrade over Vince Williams, who, to be completely honest with you, I don't really see a whole lot there. Compare him with Ryan Shazier, smash and dash. Walker, even though he did test fairly well athletically, he's more of a big-time power linebacker, the power guy, to put with the finesse guy with Ryan Shazier. This league is about matchups, and you're working off strengths and addressing what you might not have to make a complete dynamic in your linebacking core. And I think having a Bud Dupree, Ryan Shazier, Anthony Walker Jr., and a Takk McKinley, James Harrison linebacking core, that's pretty terrifying. That's rebuilding the Pittsburgh Steelers defense to what it once was and trying to match the production that they have on the offensive side of the ball. Moving to the third round, they have 2 third-round picks. The first of 2, we're going back-to-back offense here. I really personally feel that offensive line could be a good position to need, looking at that left tackle. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe if you're a Steeler fan, you can tell me what you guys think about Alejandro Villanueva. He was formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles. We had him playing tight end, defensive tackle. Obviously, he swung to left tackle there for you guys. But maybe they want to look at eventually getting a left tackle. I'm not particularly sure because we don't pick a tackle for quite some time. But with the third round pick, 94, I'm going with Amara Darboh, the wide receiver from Michigan, 6'2", 215 pounds, had a phenomenal combine, 4.45 40, 17 reps on the bench press. The 40-yard dash time was about, I thought he was going to run the high 4 or 5 range. So he really impressed me with that. He was the best playmaking wide receiver on Michigan last year. We didn't really have the greatest quarterback play. NFL Pro comparison is Mohamed Sanu, who was fairly productive with the Atlanta Falcons, but more so during his time with the Bengals. But I think, he had a great season last year. He had 7 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards on a team that wasn't really a pass-first offense, to be completely honest. I think a guy like Darboh can come in and compete with Antonio Brown. Obviously, Antonio Brown needs to be worried about Darboh. But right now, as it stands, for the wide receivers, they lost Marcus Wheaton. You don't know what is going to be, the availability of a Martavis Bryant. You still have to be conscientious of that. So right now you have Darius Hayward-Bay and Justin Hunter as the other outside guys, assuming Eli Rogers plays in the slot. Sammy Coates' experiment didn't really work out. I think Kobe Hamilton is all right. But adding another wide receiver with some upside to that wide receiver room could be very beneficial for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who may need to be looking for another option outside of Antonio Brown, preparing for life in case the things with Martavis Bryant can never get his goddamn life sorted out. I think getting Darboh here in the third round would be a phenomenal value pick, and he can make some impact plays as a rookie on that team. Then with the second, third round pick 105, I have them adding a backup running back, which it's kind of crazy at the, really reflecting at the depth of this year's class, because he's an incredible running back. And I have them getting Samaje Perine, the running back from Oklahoma. A lot of people, myself included, do see Joe Mixon as the better pro, but Perine, let's not get it twisted. And this guy here broke the college rushing record for most rushing yards in a game. I think he had like 420 some yards. It was crazy, man. He's been uber productive ever since a freshman at Oklahoma. 5'11", 233 pounds, 4.65 40, 30 reps on the bench press. Incredibly strong. Obviously was not going to wow with the 40-yard dash, but he's a compliment to what they have in Le'Veon Bell. I'm sorry. Niall Davis, Fitzgerald, Toussaint, they're not a compliment. You need a power back, I think, because you can get all the finesse things with the Le'Veon Bell. But when it's time to put the ball on the 1-yard line, and you don't want Le'Veon Bell getting hurt, you bring in all Sabaje Perine. We all know how big and valuable a running back is there with Pittsburgh, because until proven wrong, Le'Veon Bell is a liability when he's off the field. So you need to have another guy back there that can carry the load. In the third round, getting a guy like Samaje Perine, where he would probably be a high second-round pick if the running back class wasn't nearly as strong. That's excellent value right here. And I think Samaje Perine in the third round makes a lot of sense to the Pittsburgh Steelers, in my opinion. Jumping to the fourth round, pick 135, either going with a defensive end, Nazir Jones from North Carolina, 6'5", 300 pounds, and a 5'1", 140. Didn't test spectacularly well, but he's the kind of guy that is, physical, can play the run, and add some more depth to the defensive end spot. They did bring in Tyson Alua, I don't know how to, I'm not going to lie, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name, to go in with Cameron Hayward and Stephon Tuitt. But I think more so on the Stephon Tuitt side, you can look at adding some more depth there, as the backup for Stephon Tuitt is Latarius Walton and Roy Philon. I think a guy like Nazir Jones, being able to come in against the clear running situations, he can get some snaps here as a rookie and develop into a solid prospect. Going to the fifth round pick, 173, I'm selecting Treston Deku from Oregon State, the corner defensive back. I think he kind of looks a little bit like a safety to me, but they may want to have him play a corner. He's a general defensive back for a team that can continue to add youth on the defensive side of the ball in that secondary. 6'2", 205 pounds, 4'6", 240, 11 reps on the bench press. Great size. His coverage ability is not too bad. He plays in he's a zone cover corner, and we all know that the Steelers love playing zone. But I do see him potentially making a move to a free safety spot, which, you can look at, Mike Mitchell's not getting any younger. I guess that's the way you can look at it. But I think adding a big, rangy guy that could already scheme fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense in the fifth round here is very nice, and I think that's a good pick for them. Jumping to the sixth round, pick 213, either getting an offensive tackle, a right tackle, J.J. Dielman from Utah. 6'5", 310 pounds, put up 27 reps on the bench press, classified on NFL.com as a center, but I think more so he will be a right tackle in the NFL. He's a cousin of former NFL offensive lineman Chris Dielman, who spent some time, I think, with the San Diego Chargers, if I'm not incorrect. But yeah, he has great athleticism. I think he's just versatile. If he can play inside, he can play outside. I see him more as a tackle, but they're pretty much set on the right tackle spot with Marcus Gilbert. He's really solid. But I think adding an offensive lineman there, you have to add at least one offensive lineman in a draft class. Trust me, as you're with Chip Kelly, where you just ignore the offensive line position, you never know what sticks, especially at the tackle spot. I mean, I don't really see Dielman as a right or a left tackle, which I think is the position in need with Villanueva as the only starter there. But again, I think just getting the best value possible on the offensive line here in the sixth round with Dielman would be a nice pickup for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Playing right, play inside, just versatility is a key for making the final 53 as an offensive lineman, and that's what Dielman can bring. And then finishing up in the seventh round, pick 248, I've been going with Des Lawrence, the corner from North Carolina, 6'1", 185 pounds. Again, just a zone corner, another scheme fit, big, long, rangy guy, thin. I think the best thing will be for him is he probably will end up being on a practice squad. But again, getting the best zone cover corners, I think will excel for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they're decent. They have solid depth here. But the seventh round pick, again, you're looking for special teamers, guys that may be project players down the road. And I think Des Lawrence, in my opinion, is the best potential value for that Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So there you go, guys. That is my 7-round mock draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. This is your first time stopping by. Don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed. Only if you enjoyed. If you hated it, you think it sucked, you think I deserve AIDS, feel free to let me know. I love those kind of comments. They brighten up my day. 100 likes on this video, guys, and tomorrow we'll be releasing the Atlanta Falcons 7-round mock draft, so I know a lot of you guys will want to tune in for that one. But that does it for me here today, guys. Thank you for watching the best mock drafts on the YouTube platform. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.